coming at you today with my review of the Zurich zr11 OBD2 scan tool. These things are available at Harbor Freight. There's several different models. The ZR4, the base model, pretty much just does what these little code readers, which I've had this one for a long time. I've had this for like 3 years. You can see the screen's broken and everything. It's like a little bit upgraded over this. I think I paid $40 for this, and maybe the ZR4 is the same price and just a little bit upgraded. It just does the, the regular trouble codes, diagnostic trouble codes, and that kind of thing. Then you've got the zr8, which is one step above that. It does everything that the ZR4 does, except for it resets your oil light. It'll do ABS codes, but only in domestic models. So it is kind of limited on that, but you have to remember that some of the stuff that is an import brand is actually made by domestic manufacturers. So if you have like a Mazda or an Isuzu or some models of Volvos and Saabs, it may work on those, but I think it depends on the actual model of the car. But overall, you're pretty safe bet with any Ford, GM, or Chrysler product for the ABS on that. It has a battery alternator system check, trip cycle procedure, and it can stream live data. The ZR11, which is the one that I have, is basically does everything that the ZR8 does, but it also will graph and record the data. It'll reset the battery. I don't have any cars where there's like a battery reset function, but you could have that. And it has the LED OBD2 cable, which basically is like a little light in it, so it helps you find your OBD2 socket under the dash. And it'll do any ABS codes. Doesn't matter, domestic, Asian, European, it does them all. And then above that, there's a ZR13, which is like $189, whereas mine is only like $140. So for $40 more, it gives you this fix assist thing where it will give you tips on how to fix your diagnostic trouble code. But I mean, if you need that, you can just use Google. I mean, I'm not going to pay extra money for that. Plus, I pretty much already know the deal on that. And it says that the ZR13 is the only one that'll diagnose and erase SRS codes. But I actually find that this does do the SRS, which is the airbag system. I find that this one does do the airbag system, at least in this Acura. So yeah, let's take a look at it. Okay, so the first thing I noticed taking it out of the box is the cord is really nice and long, and I like that a lot. My old code reader, as you can see, the cord is like only like 1.5 feet, 2 feet long. And the cord you could replace if you could find the, I'm sure they make a replacement one for this, so if you end up shorting out the cord somewhere, or if it just gets old, you can take it off. Whereas with this lower end one, which I'm sure is similar to like the cheapest ones at like AutoZone, or I think even Walmart has one for like 20 bucks now, you can't replace the cord on it. Let's see. It has a pretty good size color screen. You can take it or leave it. It has plenty of buttons, which I'll try my best to go over. And this thing will power up without being connected to the vehicle, whereas this old one, it won't do anything until it has power from the OBD2 plug. So it's pretty much all of its power is coming from the car. Whereas this one, you can, if you save a code in it, it'll still be in there later, so you can review it in case you forgot what the code was. You're not gonna go all the way back out to the car. And then also, because it does have a long cord, it's really nice that it has this Velcro strap for storage purposes. So let's go ahead and plug this in. So now, the first thing you gotta do when you use this, before you can plug it into the car, is it has to be turned on first. So there's a little power button here, give it a quick little tap, screen lights right up, and you give it a second to load. And now it's on, and it even has a DTC saved in it from when I had it plugged into this car before. And I think we can view if we just hit this little middle enter button, P1709, and the readiness monitors. Basically, these are the monitors, like if you're going for an emissions test, they have to be complete for them to do the test, so you have to drive around for a bit for it to go through those monitors. The monitors weren't complete when I had it plugged in before. And it's showing a 1709 code, and it says definition is not available, please visit our website. So this is an Acura specific code. I think Honda uses the same code. Basically, this has to do with the shifter. If you get codes like this on any code reader, literally plug it into Google, put in your make and model, and it'll bring it right up. So that's cool. I wonder, let's see here, if we press this button up here, yeah, that doesn't do anything, we'll just not put it in the car. So then you've got the M button, which is your main menu. So you can tell it to go through system test, vehicle information, oil reset. So like if you have a car with an oil light and it has to be reset with an actual scan tool, this will do it. A lot of cars with oil lights can be done right on the dash though. DLC Locator. So what that means is you can put in the make and model of your car, and it has a database inside of it that'll tell you the location of the actual socket. Most of them are down below the steering wheel, like in the footwell, the driver footwell. But like if you have a car like this, for instance, the socket's in here. You have to pull out a little tray, and then the socket's in behind it. So if you have a car and you can't find it, you can just go to DLC Locator. Battery alternator monitor. So this will just do a quick alternator or battery test, and it will instruct you on what to do while the test is going on. It'll tell you if your alternator's good or if your battery's good. Just follow the instructions. Trip cycle procedures. Well, let's see what that is. So I would guess that this will tell you the parameters for all the readiness systems to be completely cycled, how many miles, different speeds, that kind of thing. Firmware version, that's just basically how updated the particular model is. Tool library. So this just kind of is like, kind of helps out, like if you are wondering what different icons are, it's kind of like an index. And tool settings, you can adjust the brightness, the tone, footer messages, the hotkeys. That's another thing, it tells you what the keys do. Change the language, I don't know what all languages, English, Spanish, and French it looks like. And unit of measurement, so if you're in Canada or Europe and you happen to have one of these, you can change it to metric. Here in the States, obviously we use imperial measurements. Okay. Yeah, so there's that. If we go here, the S button, this is all the systems that it'll test. So you've got your OBD2, which is what that small scanner does. ABS, so that's anti-lock braking systems, which this does for, like I said, all models. So if you have an ABS light, this will tell you why. Most of the time it's a wheel speed sensor. Sometimes it's a pump, but really there's not much to an ABS system. But it'll tell you exactly what you need to replace. SRS, so that's the airbags or safety restraint system. I've tried it, it seems to work. It says that it doesn't have that functionality on their chart there, and maybe they'll take the functionality away in further models, and that's why they don't want to guarantee it on their packaging. But this, at this time that I bought this, and the Harbor Freight stock number on it is 63807, the airbags, you seem to be able to test the airbags. And then this is the key thing that I don't know why they don't advertise this. This has Acura OEM Enhanced. So I'm assuming that it has other enhanced troubleshooting software in it for other makes and manufacturers. I've only tried it on this Acura. And essentially this is a lot deeper than what other scanners will do. So if we look at that, this is the codes that it had. So automatic transmission system malfunction. So essentially, I'm pretty sure it relates to this gear shifter because of that 1709 code. I think if I replace this gear shifter, this code will also be fixed. And then mode switch failure, and this was in the TCM as well. So again, this goes back to the gear shifter. It gets stuck in the sport shift mode. Sometimes it just won't come out, and I think it goes back to the gear shifter, but I'll have to replace the gear shifter to see. Okay, so we'll go back to that. So that's what the S button with a circle around it does. We'll go here. This is the DTCFF. So SRS, it brought up the SRS system. I think it goes back to the last system you tested. So like the last system I actually tested was the airbags, just to try it out. LD, freeze frames. So if there's some freeze frame data, some vehicles have it, some vehicles don't. The newer you get, the more freeze frames. So basically, if there's some type of trouble code that comes up, some cars will save all the information like the throttle position, intake air temperature, wheel speed, all that kind of thing. It'll save all this in a freeze frame. And then this button, when it's plugged in, is supposed to clear any codes in the module. And then once again, this is just the power button. So if I press this, it powers it off. As you can see, this LED light is pretty nice. I have had some cars where it's kind of hard to see exactly what position the plug goes and exactly where it is. And it's not the brightest light in the world, but it beats trying to hold this and a flashlight at the same time. So let's go ahead and try and plug this in real quick. So yeah, you have to have the key in the ignition and in the on position. The engine doesn't have to be running, but you have to have the computer or the car powered up so it can link up. It'll know that it's in the socket because there's 12 volts to the socket at all times. So it'll complete the circuit and know that it's in the socket, but without the computer powered up, it won't be able to actually connect. So then it'll have you select your make of your car so that it knows what to look for here. So this is easy because we got an Acura, but it has all the makes in here for the most part. Okay, so once again, it brought up that first 1709 code. So this red box is supposed to be like a picture of an eraser, so this is to erase the code. So let me try to erase this code real quick. So says, and it'll just erase everything and reset all the readiness monitors. If you want to do that, you have to press the enter button, so I'll go ahead and do that. Erase was successful. Okay. And then it'll link up again. But look, the code is still stored in the module. Quick, let's just unplug this one and turn that off. Now, if I go back to my old little basic code reader here, get that plugged in. This is kind of a hard spot to get these plugs into, but it's okay. So we'll bring this up on this one. So on this one, you just scan it real quick, gets connected to the PCM. So here's the code, so it's definitely still there. And this one is a little bit less, like I said, This is the old Centec one. I guess Harbor Freight isn't carrying Centec anymore. So essentially this will read codes, erase codes. It'll view freeze frames just like the other one. IM readiness, so it'll tell you if your readiness monitors are good, your vehicle info. So this does quite a bit, and I believe this is basically all the same. All these cheat code readers are this same type of thing. What the Zurich one has is the ability to do ABS and airbags, and has a nicer screen, and most of all, it has that proprietary OEM functionality with that enhanced OEM scanning capability. So we'll read the codes. So it comes up, same thing, 1709. It doesn't know what it is, but like I said, I know that that's for the shifter. If I erase the codes on this cheaper one, erase done. So we'll see if that code is still in the module. Still there. See what happens if we start up. Okay. So with it running, let's see what happens if we erase the codes. So I'm going to erase the codes. Let's see if the check engine light goes away. It went away and came right back. So essentially there's no trouble with the Zurich. It'll erase your codes. This one just keeps coming back because there's no monitors that it has to go through for this shifter. It knows right away that the shifter has some trouble. So and this shifter gives the car intermittent problems. So right now, for whatever reason, this shifter is just messed up. So but if you had something like an O2 sensor, both of these would still erase that code, and it would have to go through the readiness monitor to flash the code again. It won't come up again for quite a bit. Alright, I really hope that you enjoyed that review. It's just a quick one. I'm sure that there's way more that Zurich scanner can do. I'm still trying to get around it. But if you found this review useful, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And very soon I will be making a review video of this Acura TL. Just kind of like the Sentra video I did before. So stay tuned for that.